You know that feeling when you pitch your heart out, your brain on fire, every detail polished, every number crunched, and still get the cold shoulder? When those same people who say they want innovation, who claim they back visionaries, suddenly act like your dream's a burden? That confusion, that frustration, it's real. It's crushing. You start wondering, what are they really looking for? What's the secret they're not telling me? The truth isn't about your product or your team, at least not fully. It's deeper. It's buried in the way the whole game of venture capital actually works, and understanding that changes everything. Here's the brutal reality. VCs don't just look for the obvious winners. They don't just bet on good ideas. What they want, what moves their money, is control, influence. They invest in things and people they can shape, influence, and yes, sometimes even bend to their will. That's not some conspiracy. It's practical. They back founders who get it, who align with their mindset, their pace, their vision of the future. If you don't fit that mold, you're invisible, or worse, a risk to be avoided. And that's where so many founders get stuck. They think all they need is a killer pitch deck, killer traction numbers, or a killer prototype. But no. That's like showing up with fireworks at a candlelight vigil. They missed the point. The core question is, how do you become the founder they can't ignore, the one they feel compelled to back? It's not just about your idea or your hustle. It's about becoming sovereign in a world that resists that. You see, most VCs want founders who act predictable. Safe plays, incremental growth, familiar paths. Because betting on the exceptional, the unconventional, the ones who dare to burn rules, scares them. But this fear creates a hidden opportunity, a gap few understand or are brave enough to take. You can tap into this gap. You can be the wild card, the spark that breaks the system, not by fighting it head on, but by mastering how to move inside it. To be critical and selective, to pick your allies wisely, to play long term. Here's what that really means. Your value isn't just your startup. It's your will. Not your pitch, not your business model, but your unbreakable, ruthless will. Because VCs bet on individuals who don't just endure, they transform, who refuse to fold under pressure, who question everything, even advice from those sitting with the money, who understand the system's mechanics, yet refuse to be trapped by its rules. Remember this. The traditional script they hand to founders is designed to keep you inside a cage dressed up as freedom. They teach you to climb, fit in, comply, and when you do, you might get some funding, but you lose part of yourself in the process. The raw edge that makes your idea different, the fire that gave birth to your vision, gets dulled. So many founders trade that fire for a big check, believing it's the path to success. The real success lies in not trading your soul for money, but in building a new path around it. So how do you break out? Start by seeing through the illusion. VCs want to back transformers, not just performers. Not the ones who spin the routine story well, but those who embody transformation. That means being critical, asking the hard questions, to yourself and to them. Never settle for their comfort zone. Challenge their assumptions, push boundaries, but do it selectively. Align only with those who burn as fiercely as you do, who see your fire as a force, not a threat. This isn't about pleasing everybody. It's about attracting the few who matter. You need to master the art of patience. This isn't a sprint. It's a marathon where endurance multiplies power. Many founders rush, desperate for validation, trying to impress or force deals. That only makes them predictable, easy to dismiss. The secret is working deeper, growing stronger while the world looks sideways. When you show patience, you grow true power, the kind that isn't flashy but unstoppable. When you bring this mindset, the whole game changes. Instead of begging for attention, you command it. Instead of chasing every dollar, you create magnets that pull in the right investors, the ones who get you. You become the rare signal, not just noise in the crowded market. This is the difference between founders who fade and those who become legends. Here's something most founders don't realize. The biggest leverage isn't always in what you say or build, it's in who you are beneath the surface. The person who refuses to be processed, to be optimized into some safe package for the VC world. You can't fake this. It's about relentless self-becoming, shedding borrowed identities and systems that promise success but steal your power. This self-liberation, this rebellion against the rules is the true currency that shapes not just your future, but the future of everything you build. Why do most founders never discover this? Because the whole industry is set up to reward compliance over sovereignty. The best ideas from the edges, the true game changers, they're often ignored, until someone figures out the code and flips the script. And today, you have the chance to be that someone. Imagine what would happen if you started living by a different code, one that isn't about pleasing or following, but about embodying freedom. What if you refuse to pretend to fit the mold? What if you start questioning, transforming, selecting your allies with surgical precision? What if patience isn't a barrier, but your secret weapon? These are the founders VCs don't just want, they need, because bottom line, the old ways aren't working anymore. The world craves disruption, yes, but disruption from the inside out. Founders who spark revolution not by chaos, but by unshakable essence. This isn't talk to scare you or hype you up. It's a call to those who feel that fire inside, the tension growing, that feeling that you were made for more than what's expected, more than what the system tries to box you into. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to follow their playbook. You can rewrite it by becoming the rare few who refuse to accept limits. And here's the last thing to remember. Freedom in this game isn't given, it's taken. No investor, no institution hands it out. It's seized by those who burn brighter, who move smarter, who stand sovereign. Your next move isn't about convincing others to see your value. It's about fully owning it, so loud, so clear, that nobody can ignore the force you've become. Right now, you're not just a founder pitching another idea. You're a liberator conquering the cage before the cage can claim you. You hold the secret VCs don't talk about, the secret path forward, not just to funding, but to true power. Don't wait for their invitation. Don't ask for their approval. Take the lead. Be the rare few who don't just survive the system, but transform it. Because when you do, the future can't help but follow.